Hey guys, and welcome to the next video. In this video, I will explain you what an IP complaint is and also how to avoid them as best as possible, and also what to do if you receive one. So if you want a summary of this video and the IP complaint checklist, just leave us a comment with checklist and I will send you the summary. So what is an IP complaint exactly and why should you avoid it? So if IP complaint happens, the guy that owns the intellectual property to a certain brand claims you at Amazon and Amazon removes you as a seller from a certain listing. So afterwards, you won't be able to sell certain product anymore. And also your seller health will receive a negative entry. So that's also a thing to keep in mind, especially when your account health is not that high. Also, if your inventory is stored at Amazon, you need to request a removal order to get your stock back. And sometimes Amazon is also holding your stock when they think that your product is fake, for example. And then before you can get your stock back, you have to prove to them that your stock is legit. And that can be a pain in the ass sometimes. But to help you minimizing the risk getting an IP complaint, I will go over 3 cases with you that will show you all of the red flags that I know. So let's start with this product. For example, this product right here is sold by this brand here, Dr. Hölter. And now we scroll down and see who sells this certain product. First thing I'm usually checking is, okay, how is the offer count looking? For example, on this product, it looks like super flat, and that's also super suspicious in the first place. Here you can see who owns the brand also sells the brand. So it's the same guy. So that's already a super big red flag if the guy that owns the brand also sells the product, because he doesn't want to have any price competition on his own listing and just wants to sell his own stock, right? So that's a super big red flag in the first place. If the brand by itself sells the product. And also a super nice thing you can see here, for example, also when we zoom out, and super flat price graph. Even when some other dude hopped on the listing, the price always stood like super stable. No one undercutted each other, and that's also usually a super big red flag when that happens, like a super stable price. Even if there would be other sellers on this listing, that would probably just mean that they have a brand direct deal with the certain brand, because usually, as you guys know, sellers are starting to undercut each other, even if it's only like a few cents just to get the buy box, and that's just not the case here. Right? And that's the thing you will see even with products that are selling like over 100, 200, even 1000 times a month. So that's really a thing to look out for as well. So that's it with this case. Let's go into the next one. And in this case, I want to highlight that you're always looking out if a listing already looks suspicious, who are the certain sellers on a certain brand, and if they occur on many other listings of the same brand. So that's also a thing to look out for. So on this listing, for example, we are also seeing like a super stable offer count, even though the product sells like 300 times a month. And you can also see up here, the price was super stable most of the time and then dropped right here. Already pretty suspicious, but it's the same seller. As you can see, it's the Haircoon guy that also dropped the price. Maybe they ran a promotion or something like that, but there are 2 red flags already, like the offer count is super flat and also the buy box price is also super flat. And what I will check out now is, okay, who are the sellers of this listing? And for example, it's this Haircoon guy. This guy right here is only selling used items. Okay, these 2 guys basically are selling this product as new, like the Haircoon guy and the hairline guy. And now I would just look for other listings of this certain brand. So what you can do is just copy the brand and look for another listing. I already did that and prepared another listing for you guys. And that's this product right here. As you can see, it's the same brand. And also the offer count looks super flat again. And also the buy box price looks super flat as well, right? So 2 red flags again. And then I can check, okay, are these the same sellers? And indeed, it's the hairline guy and it's also the Haircoon guy. So now I can be super certain that these 2 guys definitely, or most definitely, have a brand direct deal with this certain brand. And the brand direct deal just means that they are allowed to sell this brand, but only under a certain price, for example. So they are not allowed to undercut each other, for example. So they are given a price, they can't undercut, and that's basically it. And that's the thing you can do with every brand where you are uncertain. Just look on multiple listings and see if there are different sellers on these certain listings, right? So also a thing you can definitely look out for. Let's get to the next one. And on this listing, I want to highlight a super hard drop off in sellers. As you can see right here, the offer count dipped like crazy in 1 or 2 days. And that's usually also like a super hard red flag, because usually you have a linear decline in sales. Okay, so a thing like that usually never happens on a natural way. So there is probably an IP complaint behind it. So also definitely a thing to keep in mind. Sometimes super hard drop-offs can happen, but then the seller rank also goes down super hard, because as we know, when the sales rank goes down, the sales skyrocketed at this moment, and everyone maybe just went out of stock with this product because maybe they only had like 2 or 3 or 4 stock of something, and the product got super hyped. But that's a case that doesn't happen too often when you see an offer decline like this. But as always, you should still use your brain and look out for signs like that as well. So if there was like a super hard decline in the sales rank as well, so the sales rank dropped super hard, could really also be that everyone just went out of stock. But usually then you are also having like a decline that's not that hard. And now I will show you a healthy decline of sellers on this Codex right here. As you can see right here, for example, the seller drop off was pretty linear, as you can see. So it was never like super hard. As you can see right here, it never went from, for example, 27 to like 3 sellers. It's usually like 2 or 3 or 4 sellers down a day, if even. So most of the time it's maybe 1 or something like that, right? So there is some good comparison for you guys to see what a healthy decline looks like, and also what an unhealthy decline looks like. So now you may ask yourself, what can I do if I still get an IP complaint? And at some point you maybe will. So the first thing you should check when you've gotten an IP complaint is just your seller health metrics. And there you'll get a notification, and under the notification you will get an instruction what you should do next. And that's usually uploading an invoice of your retailer or of your manufacturer or of the wholesaler, for example. And if that still doesn't work, you can also contact the brand directly and ask them to remove your IP complaint. Just assure that you will never sell on the certain listing or items of the brand anymore. And usually they are willing to just remove that claim. So what happens with my products if I can't remove my IP complaint, or I agreed with the intellectual property holder to not sell the product anymore? If you sold a certain item FBM, it's no problem. Just sell the item on another marketplace, for example, eBay or another big e-commerce platform you have in your country. If the products are in the Amazon fulfillment center, you have to request a removal and the products will get shipped to you. And afterwards, you can also sell them. And still, if you're doing everything right and there were no red flags on a listing, a certain brand can still claim you at some point because they just want to sell the item on their own, for example. So that's also a thing to keep in mind. So guys, that's it for the video. As I already mentioned, if you want to have a summary of this video and an IP complaint checklist, just comment checklist under the video and we will send you the checklist directly. And also, if you have further questions regarding IP complaints, Amazon FBA, or our own online arbitrage software, ProfitPath, just join our free Discord community. It's also linked in the video description below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.